first attack when defending.
I think it's like
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on.
People deluded, I'm back again. First things first, happy Friday. I hope you're all doing well and safe, people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Please make sure you're smashing the like button. I'm sure you've seen the title of the video and you've got some opinions. Make sure you're smashing the like button, offering your comments either in the comment section or the live chat, turning on your notifications, get comfortable, and it is what it is. At the time of making this video, people, obviously this is a kind of condensed transfer news video. I will be live at 12:30 to see any developments where Arsenal are concerned and just speak more with you lot because I love you guys. On the topic of love, I hope you and your loved ones are doing well and safe. You're in good health. I hope you've had a great start to 2023, and I also hope that you've had a great week, people, and I hope the weekend is kind for you and the whole of 2023 in terms of good health, personal and private development. Appreciative of you lot tuned in once again. Appreciate all the support you give all my platforms, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube and all those things, people. Again, shameless update in relation to other content. On Sunday, we're watching Arsenal Manchester United together. Kickoff is at 4:30. We'll be watching it at 3:30. Saturday live from noon, 12 p.m. UK time. Obviously, Liverpool Chelsea. Appreciative to all of you lot that have watched my content, watched the playlists on my channel, checked them out, looked at my transfer news, watched the watch-alongs with me, and so on and so forth. Now, Leandro Trossard, I don't know if it's safe to say it, but we've safe to say we've got a winger in it. I've offered all my opinions on Trossard, but in short, I think he brings Premier League experience. I think he brings experience. I think while Arteta obviously has shown with Granit and Partey and people like that, age doesn't necessarily mean you can't improve or show different layers to your game. I think he's kind of the finished article, a bit different from our development players. Take nothing away from the young bulls for what they've been doing since we've done this project, but experience, Premier League experience, can play in multiple roles, out wide, in the 10, left and right wing, in the 10, false 9, all these things. I think, Mikel Arteta, I think he'll play a lot better with better players. I think he's a good kind of stopgap signing, for a couple of years that can tie in. I don't think he necessarily, harms the pathway. I think, big up Brighton and the caliber of players they have. I think in a nice way, Trossard is very much an Arsenal player in technically and how he wants to play and things like that. So I think it's a very shrewd addition, a very good player that we're getting. And obviously, he's got 7 Premier League goals. If he can keep doing that, Odegaard's got 7, Jesus when he's back, and all the other players can keep doing what we're doing, goals win games in it, and we're up there for top goal scorers in the Premier League. So the more we keep doing that, the better. That being said, though, let me share my screen with you lot and let's see exactly what's being said currently. Now, any updates, again, I'll get videos out to you. I'm doing a watch along. Man said watch along. Doing a live stream at 12:30. But yeah, let's share this thing and let's get into it. Fabrizio Romano, who initially, first of all, broke the news, he said Leandro Trossard has now successfully completed all medical tests as an Arsenal player. So he's done his medical. Personal terms have been done. De Zerbi at Brighton has confirmed he's been sold. So I guess all we're probably lacking now is official confirmation that he is an Arsenal player via Arsenal.com, holding the shirts and things. And probably why I'm making this video and why you lot are going about your life. He's probably, the photographer's probably getting the pictures, getting him in the Arsenal gear, etc. At the time of making this video, it's 11:18 a.m. Apparently, he needs to be registered within the hour, really, 12 p.m. for him to play against Man United. And you would love that. Written in the stars at the Emirates, comes on, does his little celebration. The biggest thing I'm happy about Trossard is he's another Premier League hitman that we don't have to face. Because as you know, that's another thing I like about him. He's a big game player, bro. Man got a hat-trick at Anfield. We've done well in terms of away forms and against top 6. We're bringing in a man that's on playing in big games. We need to be winning at Anfield when that game comes, man. Big up Trossard. But apparently, Arsenal are hopeful of beating the deadline for 26 million signing to face Man United. He is undergoing a medical and finalising his 26 million pound transfer from Brighton to the Gunners. Arsenal are trying to wrap up the 26 million pound deal for Brighton winger Leandro Trossard in time for Sunday's clash against Manchester United. He's allegedly agreed personal terms with the Gunners over reported 90k a week people contract that runs until 2026 and contains the option for a further 12 months. He's finalising the move on Friday, and Arsenal are working hard to get it done by midday so he can make his debut against United at the Emirates Stadium on Sunday. Obviously, we play on Sunday. In an ideal world, we play on Sunday. Mikel Arteta's press conference is either Friday or Saturday. For some reason, I think it's Saturday. Arsenal not stupid. He's going to be asked about him, and he's going to touch on that. So yeah, hopefully Trossard can get a training session in with the Gunners and do his thing, people, because he's been training alone really with Brighton. So yeah, people, Arsenal will pay Brighton 21 million up front for Trossard, with a further 5 million coming in the form of add-ons. The Gunners have worked on a move for the Belgian quickly and turned to him after a deal for Mudryk failed. Again, bro, no one cares about this Shakhtar thing, innit? Arsenal have a good relationship with the club Brighton after buying Benjamin White in the summer of 2021 for 50 million. So if we're unable to bring in Declan Rice, Moses Caicedo, we got a good relationship with you lot. Come on, Brighton, look after us. We'll look after you lot as well, really, you know, with a couple players. We got that Cedric Suarez there. Trossard had 6 months to run on his Brighton contract. Although the club had the option to extend it by a year, the Belgium had refused to sign a new deal, and his agent said this month that his client felt he had been humiliated by the manager Roberto De Zerbi. He had been dropped from Brighton's matchday squads, and he's happy a solution's been found. He said the situation was difficult, I think, because I understood he wanted to leave. I'm sorry for the last period because I prefer when players are clear, not when there's some different behaviors. I think anyway, we're a good team and we can play with Leao or without Leao. In the transfer market, you can always improve. You can always buy new players, but we're at a good level now and the players are very good players. It's not so easy to improve the squad, but if there is the possibility with the chairman, Tony Bloom, and the club will do something. I mean, you've got to big up Brighton and their talent ID. Every season, there's a couple of players that they want to sell. Cucurella, Trossard's gone for probably a decent profit in the grand scheme of things, and considering his deal's gone. Cucurella, Trossard, Basuma, whose contract was running down. Benjamin White's doing great things for Arsenal, but they sold him for 50 million off the back of one Premier League season. So they know how to sell players. They know how to keep things moving, people, and they've probably got the replacement for the replacement lineup. You know, you can't not admire what Brighton do as a football club. So large up them. Apparently, Arsenal and Brighton are now exchanging contracts and documents for Leandro Trossard. Medical tests to be completed in the next few hours. Is sealed. Arsenal have completed the Trossard deal in 24 hours as he only wanted to join the Gunners. So yeah, they say we can't move quickly, but it is what it is. Leandro Trossard move. Why Arsenal switched from youth policy and how he'd fit in the team? There's a couple exceptions to the rule, and he presents, you know, there's a bulk of things. He's intelligent, he's adaptable, he's at the peak of his career. You know, he can play a lot of roles. Obviously, with our failed pursuit for Mudryk and the fact he wanted to leave Brighton, and we have good relations with Brighton, and was offered him by his agent, these things helped, but it is what it is, people. In some respects, Arsenal would be a surprising destination for Leandro Trossard. Not really. I know he's 28, but, you know, as much as we're doing this youth thing, you need experience. Experience doesn't always come with age. You know, you could argue Odegaard, Ramsdale, definitely Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko. They've had a lot of experiences, but he is 28. I know a lot of people are going to look at that and say, oh my God, he's finished, which is nonsense. Again, I kind of want to look at the bulk of this, people. Some might argue it doesn't fit the strategy. Arsenal see it as a demonstrating flexibility. It's important to have principles, but not at the expense of results, not at the expense of a title. The advantages of Trossard are clear. He's a player Arteta and his staff know well. Assistant coach Albert Struvenberg was his manager, at Genk in 2017. And obviously, these probably relayed or positively quashed any concerns about attitude problems in light with how Trossard kind of departed his current club. Arsenal previously shown, and we've also looked at him when he was in Belgium, but Arsenal previously shown they value experience in the Premier League. Until recently, Trossard had been one of Brighton's key players, scoring 7 goals and recording 2 assists in 16 league appearances so far this season. As someone who has played in a comparable tactical system, he should require little adaptation. He's accustomed to front foot pressing style, which is also good, and he's intelligent. His game, for the age thing, his game, it's not like he's a pace merchant, so he'll be all right. He's versatile too. Although he has predominantly played from the left, he's very two-footed, potentially allowing him to operate on either flank. Brighton, and he does a lot that you could teach Martinelli, Saka, all these guys about finishing as well in training. Allowing him to operate from either flank. Brighton have also used him through the middle, either as a quasi-striker or in a more withdrawn role. As we know, Jesus is injured. Eddie Nketiah is on his own. We need options. It might not be as exciting as £100 million Mudryk, a younger player who arrives with plenty of untapped potential after missing out on a 22-year-old Ukrainian. However, a deal for Trossard looks sensible. Having initially been offered the chance to sign the 24-cap Belgium international earlier in the window, Arsenal moved decisively to agree a fee with Brighton worth 21 million, with a further 6 million on top in potential add-ons. Brighton had the option of extending his contract, but that would see it extended until the summer of 24. Arsenal have come close to meeting the asking price. Their negotiating position was weakened by the fact that they had effectively shown their hand with a bid for Mudryk. In this case, case, they have chosen to move quickly rather than haggle. Arsenal can't win. You buy him, you know, again, you don't buy a player, you buy a player. There's everything that comes with it, people. Even if we got Mudryk for 100 million euros, some would say he's played 44 times for Shakhtar. What are you doing that for? Brighton's stance during negotiations was strengthened by the fact that a portion of any profit they receive, believed to be around 15%, will go to Genk, which was his club in his homeland. Arsenal are preparing to offer Trossard a long-term contract, but both parties can see the short-term benefits. Arsenal would get a ready-made Premier League player who could immediately provide competition and cover an attack. At 28, Trossard is also in a hurry to compete for major honours. By joining Arsenal, he would parachute directly into a title race, and even in the event they don't lift the trophy in May, there's a likelihood of Champions League football next season. Crucially, signing Trossard would not seriously inhibit Arsenal spending potentially when it comes to their long-term plans. Planning for the summer is already underway, with the club mounting a concerted bid to sign West Ham United and England midfielder Declan Rice. It also leaves the possibility open of strengthening further before the window closes on the 31st. I mean, we tried to get João Felix and Mudryk. So that tells me Arteta in the ideal world, 2 attackers. I'd like a centre mid, but 2 attackers. That might have been in an ideal world Mudryk and maybe Trossard if the João Felix thing was too expensive. Had we have got João Felix and we walked away from Mudryk, it could have been João Felix and Trossard. It could be Trossard and a centre mid. It could be Trossard and someone else. Who knows? But there's, you know, on the 20th of January, who knows? At this moment, I'd prefer a centre mid, really. But Arteta, bring in what you can in it. Obviously, we know João Felix didn't happen. He said, you know, he went to Chelsea. This is a deal Arsenal felt they could close relatively swiftly. Should that prove to be the case, it will afford them some time to explore other opportunities. Arteta has emphasized internally and in the media the importance of Arsenal maximizing every transfer window. Although the club acknowledged the difficulty of the January market, their efforts to strengthen the squad are expected to continue, people. What has happened to Trossard since the World Cup, people? Again, he had 6 goals in the final 9 games for Brighton before the tournament. He became a regular in Roberto Martinez's squad, and he also kind of replaced Eden Hazard in the team. I don't know why that's not happened, people, but yeah, Trossard, the opportunity to showcase his talents for a big move at 28 with his partner about to give birth to their second child would set him up for life financially. At 28, you got to think about that. Probably earning a lot more than you did at Brighton. Brighton have a 1-year option on Trossard's contract, which expires in the summer, but he had been rejecting their attempts to tie him to a new deal. Qatar was to be his stage. Things didn't go to plan. He only played 28 minutes of the opening game, people, against Canada, and the final 16 against Morocco. Hazard in the first of those matches and Real Madrid for his brother Forgan in the other. There was a start in the group finale against Croatia, but he made little impact and was withdrawn after 59 minutes, people. Belgium's golden generation ain't happened. Trossard's never been disruptive in the dressing room at Brighton, but his general demeanour and body language became transparently downbeat and adversity, people. Apparently, he's returned in a bleak mood. Obviously, De Zerbi's question about, you know, why isn't he been applying himself to the full of his ability in training? And, you know, again, he's had a calf injury. His agent came out and said he was told to go home by the trainer, so we'll never know, people. So, yeah, people, it is what it is, people. We all know the agent offered him to Arsenal. We're going to look at other things, people. Apparently, what does Trossard offer on the pitch, people? The Belgian became the first visiting player since Arshavin, ironically signed at the same age for Arsenal in 2009, to score a hat-trick in the league at Anfield, part of a streak of 7 goals in 10 games. Now in his 4th season at Brighton, Trossard has roughly equal amounts of playing time up front as central attacking midfielder and stationed out on the left. His tally of 25 goals in a team who, until the arrival of De Zerbi in September to replace Graham Potter, who left to manage Chelsea, often struggled to turn their creative play into attacking output. His figure of 4 long-range goals in the Premier League record for Brighton, although all 7 of his strikes this season have come from inside the box. I mean, he's an intelligent player. He's bold-footed, but there's a lot to like about Trossard, innit? You're welcome. Mad welcome at the Emirates. And when you look at where he's played, people, he's only played 1% on the right wing. You know, he's played 16% left wing. He's played 32% behind the 10 and 29% out wide. So if Eddie Nketiah needs a rest or we want to offer something different, Trossard could go up front. He could go in the 10, which Odegaard's, or in the left. And for me, again, off the ball, there's a lot Arteta's going to like. Brighton play a similar football. He's technically intelligent. He can link up well with good players. He's experienced. It might not be the shirt seller, but it's a very shrewd and more importantly, competent in signing. Not every signing's got to be mad glamorous and mad sexy. And obviously at Arsenal, you want all of that like every other club, but I'm behind this, man. I think it's a good signing. So yeah, you could see that Trossard's expected goals per 90s rate of 0.30 this season sees him sit alongside players including Son, Foden, and Zaha. So it's unsurprising to see several clubs interested in an increasingly accomplished multi-use Premier League forward and someone who still has scored more Premier League goals at Anfield this season than Mo Salah. Get that in. We know Spurs were interested. It didn't bang. They offered around 12 million. It didn't bang, people. Apparently, there's factors that might limit the fee he would command, but he's effectively still under contract until the end of next season. Given Brighton can trigger that one-year option, which they can't now, he seems like he'll be our player. They will argue he represents proven Premier League pedigree. 116 league appearances, 38 goal involvements, 13 assists, and 25 goals since his 13 million pound arrival from Gent. So they make a decent profit. They signed him for 13. There's, the deal is 21 million up front plus 6 million add-ons or something like that. They get rid of a player who is alienated. They get money to reinvest. We get a competent player that can help us. He gets a move, which is going to financially benefit himself as well as the sporting project. It is what it is. So shout out Trossard. Romano said a couple of things, people. No one would have expected it even just 15 days ago, and instead the deal was done. Leandro Trossard is the new first signing of Arsenal in 2023 after a January window full of complications, surprises, and twists, people. I want to scroll all the way down, people. Apparently, the Spanish manager, together with Edu Gaspar, have evaluated several names. There's never been a negotiation for Rafinha. The Brazilian has always wanted to stay at Barcelona, and the rumours were not correct as well for Ferran Torres. Fernando Torres also mentioned a negotiation with the Gunners, but it never came forward or concrete, which is why Arsenal decided to explore other options. The right opportunity was called Leandro Trossard. After breaking up with Roberto De Zerbi due to a lot of tension in some training sessions, the Belgian winger clearly asked through his agent at Brighton to leave the club in January without waiting for June. Spurs were interested. It didn't bang. Marseille allegedly were interested in him for weeks, and we've hijacked that. At least 3 clubs have activated themselves for a really interesting opportunity in the market. Until in the night between Wednesday and Thursday, Arsenal contacted Trossard's agent and then Brighton to understand the conditions of a deal. A quick and convincing assault, approved by Arteta and wanted by the board to ensure a PL-proven player, motivated, decisive, and ready to help the team immediately. The negotiations wasn't difficult. Arsenal's first offer of the night was 80 million, which you typically put a first bid, which was rejected immediately. Edu and Arteta knew they couldn't slow down. After negotiations in the morning, Arsenal finalised a 21 million plus 5 million add-ons deal to convince Brighton to sell within 24 hours. A key factor in the deal was the will of the player, because when Leandro learned of Arsenal's presence in negotiations, he blocked any other option because he didn't want other clubs or other possibilities. Only Arsenal, a huge opportunity he didn't want to pass for any reason. Personally asked Brighton to be released to join Arteta in London. Trossard will sign a contract valid until 2026 with the option of another year. So that's a 4-year deal, essentially. Arsenal have reached an agreement on personal terms very quickly and thus identified Friday as the day for medical tests and contract signings. The conversations between Edu and Arteta was essential to act with clear ideas and no worries about the Mudryk saga up to negotiating in 24 hours to get Leandro Trossard from Brighton. Timing on the transfer market is always essential, especially in January. Arsenal was simply perfect in the Trossard deal. So it is what it is. Big up Freddie Paxton. Paxton, my guy. He's the first guy that I saw talk about Leandro Trossard's agent. His agent said, Josie Comer. Forgive me for any mispronunciations. I personally offered Leao to Arsenal. This was the most beautiful club for him, and football they're playing suits him perfectly. The deal took 48 hours, which shows how much Arsenal wanted him. Amen. He also confirms he'll sign a 4.5-year contract with the option of an additional year. So we'll have to see. Romano's also said, people, Arsenal in the 24 hours completed everything with Brighton and the player. They wanted to be really strong and really fast on the deal. The first contract was 2 days ago. Then Arsenal decided to make an opening bid to Brighton. Brighton said no and turned down the first opening proposal. Then the second was the right one, 25 million total package, but add-ons. So it's around 21 million guaranteed, plus 4 to 5 million in add-ons. So an agreement is completed for this package between Arsenal and Brighton. During the afternoon on Thursday, agreement with the player was really fast. Let me say, Trossard had some opportunities in France, of course, in England, but he only wanted Arsenal. He immediately said yes to Arsenal when they called him. When Arteta also had a conversation with the player, Trossard was super happy about this possibility, and so an agreement was really fast. And we can say Trossard, after medical tests on Friday in London, will become a new Arsenal player. It's not over yet. in relation to our transfer market, because the market is open and Arsenal will explore opportunities. Keep an eye on the right-back situation. We know Fulham are interested in Cedric, so let's see if Arsenal will decide to do something in that position. They appreciate Ivan Fresneda, but also many other clubs, including Newcastle, Juventus, and Wolves. So it's an open race for the talented right-back. Let's see what Arsenal will decide to do in that position. Also, for midfield, there could be some opportunity, please. But for now, the priority for Arsenal was a new attacking player, and will be Trossard. Arsenal will keep an eye on the market in the final days. I mean, maybe with someone like Leandro Trossard, God forbid, if something happens to Granit Xhaka, Odegaard can move into that 8, Trossard or Smith Rowe or whoever can move into that. Probably need a 6. But why I'm happy with Trossard is because you can see Arteta is a disciple of Arsene Wenger. We're now getting to that point where we used to be, where we're not in a nice way, but we're sick of attacking players. You know, again, there's bare other players that are sick, but the technicians, you could include Xhaka to that. But I would say Trossard, Smith Rowe, Vieira, Odegaard, Zinchenko, probably missing out someone in the team as well. I'm here for this. Arteta, we've come a long way, my guy, man. We've come a long way, my brother. Leandro Trossard's arrival at Arsenal means Arsenal signed 8 players from Premier League clubs in 3 years under Arteta, as many as they made in previous 11 years before his appointment. Let's forget about Cedric and Willian and them kind of players there, people. But yeah. In relation to Ivan Fresneda, Cedric is one step away from joining Fulham after having a personal agreement and missing some fringes between clubs, according to what they say in England. Now Arsenal wants to offer for Fresneda before next week and try to have him for this season. So, yeah, when you look at how Trossard matches up with some of the other attackers in the, you look at Trossard, Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli, he's played the least. Saka and Martinelli have played 18, Odegaard 17, Trossard 16. He's got 7 goals. Oh, equal with Martinelli, 1 better than Saka. Obviously, Odegaard's got 1 better than him. Gabriel Jesus, after these guys, will be, the next top goal scorer at 5. Eddie's probably not far away. In terms of assists, he's tied with Martinelli. Odegaard and Saka have 5 and 7, respectively. Chances created, obviously, Odegaard's got 38, Saka's got 39, Martinelli's got 31. Respectfully to Brighton, Trossard's statistics will improve in that regard because he'll be part of the wavy thing. Brighton, you lot are wavy, but allegedly we're top of the league, innit? You know our thing. So playing with the wavy dons, he's going to get wavier, innit? So yeah, it just shows how he further complements. We've also been linked with Jadon Anthony. Reports have also followed up since this live stream, people, that allegedly his priority is to stay at Bournemouth. He's not really playing. He is a former Gooner, 23 years of age, out of contract at Bournemouth. I did cover this in my last live stream, people. He does play out wide. He's got interest from Leicester and 2 German clubs. I don't really buy this, people. He's out of contract in the summer. He's not exactly playing for Bournemouth. Again, if Arteta wants him and his talent ID, cool. If we want to buy him and loan him out and make some money, cool. But I don't know anything about you, but in the Championship, you're doing all right. But I don't see how you're going to do what we're doing right now. I don't know you're better than Reece Nelson, which at this moment is probably the weakest sort of guy in that position, give or take, with Marquinhos, who probably could go out on loan now, people. But, he's a free agent at the end of the year. He's been linked with Leicester, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Leverkusen. He did play with Joe Willock, Smith Rowe, Nelson, and all them guys. So if he does want to return home, I'm sure he could. But it is what it is. We've also been linked with Olise, people. Crystal Palace do not plan on losing both Mikel Olise and upcoming free agent Zaha this summer. They're going to make a handsome 8 million, profit on the 8 million they spent. For me, with Olise, he's a good player, but I think people gas it up. Don't make no mistake, talented player, all the potential in the world, but it's all fun and games to slap in a free kick with that quality at Crystal Palace against United. But you've got to be, not saying score a free kick every game, but you've got to be decisive in every action, like you see with Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli. They're bringing in Odegaard as well. He wasn't alone, but if you look at the goal Bruno scored in that 1-1 game between them and Palace, him and several players are not following Bruno Fernandes to have a goal. So these are things that are just with his age, but mercurial talent, bro. If Olise wants to, bro, we'll go south and drive him to north myself, really. Bring him to the carpet. He's got a £35 million buyout clause, but allegedly Palace are understood to have axed that. Crystal Palace will not entertain losing both Zaha and Olise during the summer transfer window. Apparently, he's already on the radar of European clubs. Paris Saint-Germain hold a genuine interest in the 21-year-old, people. He's attracting interest from the Premier League ahead of this summer's window. Arsenal among the clubs monitoring his situation. I mean, if you could bring Declan Rice, him and a couple others, the good times might be back, people, really. And as we know, with us getting Trossard, Zaha's days at Arsenal are probably done. You can't rule it out, or rumours to that, people. He's leaving. I don't know what they're doing with Olise, people. So I'm trying to scroll the way down. Either way, Zaha's decision is set to have a bearing on Olise's future as rival club Circle. Palace are understood to have reached an agreement with Olise last year to remove a 35 million buyout clause from his deal, meaning the club are not contractually obliged to accept a bid if the fee matches matches the release fee. That would have been lit, people. Apparently, he's on England's radar, but he's eligible, I believe, for Algeria. I can't remember where in Africa, but somewhere in Africa, excluding Algeria, and he plays for France at youth level, people. There's a sense at the FA that Olise is heavily leaning towards a senior international career in France. Nevertheless, they'll continue to monitor him. Oh, there you have it. France, England, Algeria, Nigeria, and whatever in it, people. So, yeah, big up Olise. Again, we're moving closer to signing up Leandro Trossard, people. Once again, I personally offered Leao to Arsenal. This was the most beautiful club for him, and the football they're playing suits him perfectly. The deal took 48 hours to complete, which shows how much Arsenal wanted him. Again, Trossard had some opportunities in France and, of course, England, but he only wanted Arsenal, people. So there you have that. Cedric Suarez is one step away from joining Fulham. Again, Trossard is undergoing his medical at the moment, people. Yesterday, again, Fabrizio said, here we go, 27 million, personal terms complete. So he's currently doing it. By the time this video comes out, it's probably gonna be out there, people. So it is what it is. But as you can see, he even liked this on Instagram, people, doing the social media antics. It's not quite Mudryk stuff. I'd have no clue about this, but we've been linked with a 19-year-old centre-back, Osman Diomande, who plays for CD Mafra in the second tier of Portugal, 10 million euros. I mean, if he's lit, he's lit, but I can't verify his thing in it, really. Again, every other outlet are saying this. We hijacked Marseille as well, people. Again, Albert was his, coached him in 2017 at Genk, so he knows the player. His salary is alleged to be around 90k. He's contracted until 2026, not 27. Personal terms have been agreed, and he's currently undergoing his medical. His girlfriend posted this on social media as well, so it's a good move for him. We've also been linked with Zanolio. We've also once again been linked with Fresnadar, people, who also has been linked with his former club Real Madrid, people. So we'll have to see in that regard. Apparently, Moussa Diaby remains a person of interest for Arsenal, with the Gunners expected to knock on Bayern Leverkusen's door once more for the player this summer, allegedly. Pardon me, scrolling to what's been said. We know that Arsenal already had contact with Diaby for last summer, so he's still on the list, just not for the winter. We heard Leverkusen don't want to sell him. Perhaps if Arsenal have a lot of money somewhere, maybe 100 million euros, Leverkusen would then have a discussion, but I don't think Arsenal could spend that, as we've seen from the amount they were prepared to pay for Mudryk. But they knocked on the door last summer, so I'm sure they'll knock again, people. And he's contracted until 2025. Within the next year to 18 months, they've probably got to think about signing him. Again, in January, allegedly, Patrick Berger said Arsenal, again, very interested in Diaby after Mudryk deal collapse. Understand there were initial talks between the Gunners and Leverkusen, people, but the Bundesliga side don't want to sell the French winger in January. Summer transfer more likely. Price tag 75 million euros plus huge bonuses. So again, I tried to make this a 15-minute vid, people, but it's about 28 minutes. Please let me know your thoughts. Again, I'm going live at 12:30, and also any other emerging news in relation to Arsenal, you can rest assured that I'll get it out there. You lot stay blessed, stay safe, smash the like button. I'm out.
Because you always use that active red light, defending.
I think like